Okay, so maybe you can hear my audio now, and the observatory started up, and as you can see it's moving now and appears to be going to M23, Messier number 23, which I'm not sure what that is, but it's low down in the south by the looks of it. And so the observatory's just completed the startup routine, which consists of basically moving the telescope high up in the sky and doing a focus run using Focus Max to focus the telescope. And it pretty much looks like it's pointing into the bushes at the moment, so have to talk to my colleagues at the nature reserve and see if we can get those bushes trimmed back a bit, because they've grown substantially this year and they are starting to impinge on the visibility of the two observatories. Okay, so now we're doing a pointing update, and that's a process of taking a picture of the sky and measuring the positions of all the stars in the image, and then comparing that to a catalogue of known stars and working out the coordinates of the centre of the image, and then comparing that to the place we thought we were and seeing how far off we are. And then if we're close enough, we're done at that point. But if we're more than about 3 minutes away from where we thought we were, then ACP will actually recenter the telescope and synchronize it. And actually, in the act of doing that, that error gets added to the pointing model, so that improves pointing for future slews as well. So ACP is really good at that. It starts off with no training data at all, and right from the very first exposure it's able to work out how far off it is, recenter the exposure, and start building a pointing model, all with no input from the user at all, basically. So it's completely self-learning and self-improving. Okay, so that's completed, or... Right, so I suspect something probably went wrong there, because that was way too quick. So what we'll do... Okay, so we're now looking at M21. What we'll do is we'll scroll down here and we'll look at the... we'll look at the log output and see what's going on. Okay, so we've slewed to M21, we've rotated to 0 degrees sky position angle, and we are taking a pointing update exposure again. So just scroll. Oh, so it's only found one image star. Okay, so this is the problem. It's not seeing any stars in the images. Now, that could be because it's pointing into the bushes. Or it could be for another reason. So anyway, that exposure is not going to work either. And it's probably going to waste 10 minutes trying to do an all sky plate solution. Or maybe not. Calibrating image. Image finished. Okay. So it's given up on the plate solve. It's going to just assume it's in the right place. And look at the dashboard again. It is... What's it doing? Okay, it looks to be trying to find a guide star. And it hasn't been able to find any. So you can see all the log output here. And it has failed to find a guide star. Auto-guiding failed. And again, that's because it's pointing into the bushes, I think. Okay, Alex, if you're watching this, we have to get this. We have to get the brush cutter out and cut some of these bushes back. Okay, so where are we off to now? M20. Now that I think that's the Trifid Nebula, which is very low down in the south in the constellation of Sagittarius, and that is only just visible from the nature reserve. We have had pictures of it's either the Trifid or the Lagoon. I can't remember which, but we have had pictures of that nebula before from the site. So I think it looks like that target. If you look at the where the telescope reticule is in the planetarium program here, you can see that it is almost due south and quite low down in the sky. So this object will be at its culmination, which means that's its highest point in the sky throughout the night. So it's not going to get any better. So if it's behind the bushes now, then it doesn't really stand a chance of getting an image of that. Okay, so this is not going well. And it's going to probably fail to find a guide star again. These things are all too low down behind the bushes. We would be able to see that if those bushes weren't there, so that's a shame. Okay. So, okay, observing runners finished. And, okay, M8. Oh, I think that might be the Trifid or the Lagoon as well. I could look these things up, but I've got a screen down today, so I'm short of a screen, and I can't really go looking things up right now. So let's see if I can connect into the live streaming software using my tablet. So here we go. Connect. Okay. That doesn't really help actually. Let's go watch the live stream on my tablet. So I would guess that's pretty much, yeah, that's failed again. Okay. We're moving, are we? We do appear to be moving to M3. And there goes the dome. Okay, you can see the telescope reticule moving across the sky on the planetarium software. So that's obviously something over near the western horizon, very low down, and ACP scheduler is no doubt trying to catch that before it sets. And we are doing a pointing update. So pointing updates use a 10-second exposure, bin 4x4, to capture the maximum light as quickly as possible. It doesn't need to be tremendously high resolution. You just need, the important thing is to capture as much light in as short a time as possible, such that it's enough to measure the positions of the stars astrometrically. And it looks like we have found 118 image stars this time, although we did not solve the plate. So Pinpoint may be having difficulty solving because the error may be too great at the moment. Sometimes I have seen it start up with 20 arc seconds of error at the start of an evening. Generally that's down to 1 to 2 arc seconds after a few targets. So that's pretty good going by ACP. Alright, so how's our pointing update going? It's looking like hello, Bob. Good to see you. Bob is the author of the ACP software. For those of my friends who don't know Bob. If only I could get the chat window up, I could see what he said. I saw it fly across my screen. No, I can't get the chat window up. There we go. Yeah, as Bob says, I was in the trees, I think. Okay, so I think we're just basically still in the trees at this point. We do need to cut those back. It's something that's been on the to-do list for a good while now. But it does seem to be trying to start the guider at this point. I'd be very surprised if it's successful. There we go. Okay, that's good. So that's expected. You can't expect the poor thing to do anything if it's pointing at a bush. Yeah, I'm... Okay, let's see if I can sort my chat out. I don't really know. I'm actually watching the chat on a tablet, so I don't know how I even get it in fast mode, to be honest. But yeah, my mount is kind of old and creaky, and it does start up some evenings with, on a bad night, 9 or 10 arc minutes of pointing error. But that's quite unusual. Usually it's 5 to 8. And then after it's done 2 or 3 targets, that will quickly come down to 3. And then after a few more targets, it will be down to 1. And that's about the best pointing I can achieve with this equipment. You're not bothering me, Bob, not in the least. I don't usually do commentary, actually. I normally just put the thing up and let it run. And but my microphone was here, so I just thought I'd chatter on and narrate what was going on. So Okay, so I think we've run out of early targets now because the scheduler's gone back to sleep. You can see in the bottom left-hand corner there under scheduler it says sleeping. And it will stay like that now until the next target comes up for observing. So let's have a look in the schedule browser. And see if we can see what's going on. So, okay, what is going on? Okay, there's nothing running at the moment, so we are waiting for a target. So what I might do is... okay, so you're not seeing the whole window here because of the way I've got the screen capture set up, but you can see there's a list of targets here that we could be observing. And I've got like a Messier marathon. Also, I need to change the sky quality because it's a really nice night tonight. And if we scroll down here, we can see we've got 2% cloud cover and 68% humidity, which is exceptionally low for this location. And so what we can do is set the sky quality to, and Bob won't have seen this. This is not a standard feature of the software. This is something that we've added as a customization. So I can go in here and set the sky quality to, I'm going to risk an excellent, actually. No, maybe a good. It's not quite excellent. So we'll submit that. And success, sky condition set to level 2. So that now tells the scheduler that it can go after targets that require better sky conditions. So maybe it will do something, but I suspect we need to try and enable some. Right, so some more targets. So we've got this thing, STXL Messier Marathon, which is just all 110 Messier objects. Not that one, this one. It's all 110 Messier objects. And I just use that to as a sort of a test plan, really. So I'm just going to resubmit all those plans. And so the scheduler should now be able to find something to work on. Probably try and do all those low down objects again that are behind the bushes, knowing my luck. Okay. What are we doing? Okay, M27, Messier 27 is the Dumbbell Nebula. And I've actually got loads of images of that already, but these are just little short test images. So I think it's in Vulpecula M27, if I remember rightly. Can't quite see where it's going. Okay, so let's look at the console log. And it looks like we are waiting for the telescope to stop moving at the moment. In the video feed, our video feed is actually timed out at the moment, so we can't see what that's doing. But it should have moved quite a way across the sky to the... Oh, we're right in the middle of the Milky Way there. This is good. We should at least... Okay, we started a pointing update, so we should at least get a good pointing update at this point. So this is one of my favourite features of ACP, is the fact that it just teaches itself. Oh, there we go. Okay, so pointing error is 2.56 arc minutes, so we're actually pretty much spot on there. That is within my tolerance of 3 arc minutes, so it should not reposition. And the sync there, pointing model updated. So ACP has measured that error and it's updated its pointing model, so it will become more and more accurate as time goes on. I believe I did clear my pointing model a couple of days ago for various reasons. So, boom. Yes, it's good when it works. Now then, we're not finding guide stars, so it's given up on that target. So these targets, I use rotated guiding, so it's pretty critical. It's all about finding a guide star, and these targets have just been thrown in with everything at 0 rotation angle, so it's pretty much pot luck as to whether it finds a guide star. And that's fine because it's just a little test plan that was generated by software. Right, M75. And that looks like it's quite a low down object. Hopefully it's above the bushes. Why is the video cut out on me? Let's see if I can restart that. Not quite sure how I do that. Let's try. Let's make that invisible and make it visible again. Maybe it will reconnect. Aha, that's looking promising. Yay, there we go. So now where the telescope's pointing now, there aren't really any bushes, so I'm hopeful we might actually get something now. So just in case it isn't clear, I'm 20 miles away from the telescope. It's working completely on its own, without any operator supervision, although I am watching it remotely over the internet. Right, we didn't get a plate solution, so we're getting a lot of stars in the catalogue, over 2,000 stars in the catalogue in that area, but only 92 in the image, so that seems to suggest it's not getting a very good image of the stars. And that could be because there's something in the way. There is another larger observatory just next to the one we're looking at, but I don't believe it's in the line of sight at the moment. But it also might be that it's foggy because the weather forecast, not the weather forecast. I get live weather data from the internet, which comes from a nearby airport, and the visibility has been low all day on that, down to below 6 miles, or around about 6 miles of visibility, even though it looks clear out the window. I'm never quite sure how the meteorologists measure visibility, but it has been low all day, and that is often a sign of fog. And in Kent, it's not far from the sea in any direction, so there does often seem to be a layer of fog that comes in. And because the observatory is down in a chalk pit, a disused chalk quarry, and the fog kind of piles in and it fills up, and that does ruin the visibility sometimes. So we got an all sky solution there. That's interesting. So what happens is if ACP isn't able to solve the image locally, and it does have limitations on the amount of error it can tolerate. It's only meant to be a local plate solver. Then what it does is it sends the whole thing off to an internet service called astrometry.net, and that looks over the entire sky to see if it can find out where the image is, and that can take up to 10 minutes sometimes. And that was actually successful on that occasion, and then we weren't able to find a guide star, so we gave up on that. So so now we're doing an actual science image. So this is HOIS 118. So HOIS is hunting for outbursting young stars, and that is a citizen science project that's being run by the University of Kent here near Canterbury, or in Canterbury, where I live, and they are doing research into star formation and how matter accretes onto stars from the accretion disk. And they're basically getting amateurs all over the UK and in fact around the world to image some targets as often as possible, and they hope to get at least one image of every target on every night. And it's a long-term project which is going to run for 10 to 20 years. And so they're doing photometry on the stars and trying to look for stars that are going into outburst. And because stars don't seem to accrete matter linearly over time, they occasionally go into outburst, and the phenomenon is not well understood. And so the university's doing research into all that. So we are actually feeding images into that program, and this is one of their targets, and it's well up near the zenith in Cygnus by the looks of it, right near Deneb. So what are we doing here? We're too few catalogue stars in the area. That's interesting. Well, that's really interesting. Something's not right here. So far every image has failed tonight, even the one right high up in the Milky Way. So I'm thinking there's something not right with the observatory, and I might have to log in and take a look what's going on. So I'll just wait for this 30-second timeout and see if we find a guide star, because these targets now are correctly set up for proper positioning for guide stars. And no, nothing's happening. So we'll just let it try again. Right, so what's Bob saying? Yes, Bob, this is coming from Monkton Nature Reserve, that's correct. Yeah, pointing error. Did we even get a plate solution? I don't know. Let's have a look. Scroll back. No image stars found. Yeah, we didn't even get a solution. So we did get a solution earlier, and it was about 2.9 arc minutes error. So it shouldn't be far off. But for some reason, I'm very surprised that didn't. Oh, it seems to be trying to guide. Let's just be patient and see what happens. I've had a lot of trouble with guiding though, which is something I will probably be taking up with you on the forum quite soon. So I think if you're listening to me, I think there's a thing you can enter in ACP that lets you set the rotation of the guide sensor. And I don't think my sensor's rotated. I think it's mirrored. And I don't think ACP knows how to cope with that properly. So anyway, that's something we can look into another time. So it looks like this is going to work because it's getting good guide cycles. And okay, so the video image. Oh, now what happened? Now, this is a problem I see a lot, and I'm glad Bob's watching because he will have seen that. And that can sometimes mean it's a bit hazy. But quite often it locates a guide star and then starts the AO unit, and that goes into its routine where it takes the 10 dark frames and then it basically doesn't come out the other end of that for some reason, and then we get that error message. So alright, so it's given up on that target because the guider went wrong. Oh, you can see the rotator moving there as well. Okay. This is very good. So we got a rotated to a new angle. We we switch filters. We change the focus position because there was a filter change. We are now starting I think that was a pointing update. Okay, so oh, excuse me, my dinner's repeating on me. So I'm getting a lot of difference between the number of image stars found and the number of catalogue stars found, and I think that might be a sign that we've got actually poor sky conditions. Unfortunately, ACP doesn't show the pointing update images, which is a shame. Yeah. So at this point, I'm just going to actually remote desktop into the observatory, and so I can see what's on the screen and see what the images look like. I don't think you'll be able to see this on the live stream. Unfortunately, the internet bandwidth isn't what it could be. Okay. Okay, so I'm looking at the screen, actually remote desktop into the observatory now, and we've got visibility of 6.3 miles at the moment according to the weather service. So we are having some kind of problems with visibility here. My weather safety system is in warning state. It thinks that visibility is a bit of a problem. If it gets too much worse, the observatory will shut down. So I'm just trying to hopefully see the pointing image that's coming through. The internet connection to the site is a little bit dicey, and it's sometimes not very responsive when using remote desktop, especially also because I'm using a video feed from the site in my live stream. So I basically am I've got a frozen screen image at the moment and I'm not seeing what's happening. Yeah. Show me the pointing update, come on. So you might be interested to know, Bob, that the image at the bottom of my live stream here is the Carte de Ciel planetarium, and that is connected to the observatory remotely using the ASCOM remote tools that Peter did, using the Alpaca protocol. So this is things actually working in practice. So it looks really nice. It works well. All right, we got a bad sync, you think? It may be some way off, but looking at the video feed, yeah. Tell you what we'll do then is we'll turn the scheduler off, and we will do a find loss scope on it and see what happens. Okie dokie. Where's ACP gone? There it is. It's buried under a pile of windows. Okay, I need to stop that video feed because I can't really get remote desktop and a video feed at the same time. So we need to just turn that source off. And there we go. There's ACP now. You guys watching on the live stream, I think it might be only Bob actually. So I say like there's a crowd watching. I don't think that's the case. But I'm looking at my observatory computer screen directly, and you won't be able to see this. So, right. Okay, I think. Right, yeah, so ACP's gone off and it's doing an all sky plate solution at the moment, right now. I think that will certainly take a few minutes and we have to wait for the results to come back. It shouldn't be badly off. I wonder if we got a false solution from astrometry.net before because of few image stars. Sorry about the comment throttle, Bob. I really don't know how to turn that off. Slow mode is on. It certainly says slow mode is on. But let's see if I can fix that. Chat. Live chat. Slow mode. Yeah, I actually can't see an option to control that, so it'll have to be as it is. So, okay, so what's going on here? There are actually guide stars on the guider right now. I'm just seeing that update. it seems to have found one. It's accumulating dark frames, and then... Oh, there we go. The auto-guider has started. So yeah, I'm getting a lot of guide star fade right now. It does look pretty poor image quality, I must say. But we're guiding at about 1.5 hertz at the moment. Now, it'd be really great if the guiding problem that I've been having happens now. But you know how these things go, it might not. Audio has become weak, yeah. Okay, the guiding looks to be working pretty well right now. Had a little bit of a hiccup to start with. I'm using a vintage LX200 classic, and the mechanics on that have never been stellar. And it's actually had a aftermarket drive system fitted, so it's not the original Mead drive system in there. Although it is the original gears, worm wheel and worm. But everything else has been replaced with a stepper motor and a toothed drive belt. And that's connected up to an AWR drive system. And sometimes it performs really quite well, and other times nothing seems to go right. So I have to take the rough with the smooth with that. But this is working really quite well now. Which is interesting. And we will see at the end whether it what our image quality is actually like, I guess. So we're doing a red exposure through the red filter, bin 2x2. Guiding interval is around about half a second, so 2 cycles per second. And it looks like it's maintaining a guiding accuracy of within about... Oh, so now we've got a jump there. That's interesting. Right, now here you go, Bob. I hope you're watching this. I can hear in my headphones that that Maxim is trying to bump the mount. So what's happened is that the AO's got to the edge of to its limit of travel, and it's trying to bump the mount, and that's gone off in completely the wrong direction. And the guide star will go right off the guide chip at that point. Now, I seem to be able to get one axis correct, but not both at the same time. So as I say, the thing in ACP only allows you to set the rotation of the guide chip but I suspect my guide chip is actually mirrored, not rotated. And so that means I can never get both axes in the right direction. I don't know whether I'm doing something wrong when I set up Maxim or ACP, but that's the problem I have, is that the AO gets to the limit of travel, it tries to bump the mount, and it moves the guide star right off the chip. Which leads to a image like this, which is a bit grisly. There we go. Yeah, you can see from that image exactly what happened there, I think. So as long as the guide star stays within the limits of the AO, then it guides fine. But as soon as I get to the point where it needs to bump the mount, then it all goes horribly wrong. We'll see if it succeeds in doing another one. Right, okay, I think it's given up because it's lost the guide star, I believe. This looks like what's happened. Yeah, I hear you, Bob. I will do as you suggest. You will see that I posted something on the comm center a little while back saying that the calibrate guider script wasn't working, and this is all part and parcel of that, I think. So if you check for that, maybe I'll take it up with you on that thread. Right, I'm not sure what's happening now. I think, it's because I've stopped the scheduler, so it's basically got to the end of that job, and it has stopped and is waiting for me to do something. So I should add that if I go in and use Maxim to manually start an image, the guiding works perfectly. So there's only an issue when ACP is in control of the guiding. That's probably a relevant point. So anyway, enough said about that. I will see you on the comm center. In fact, I might hop over there now. Let's all right, I think I'm going to take this live stream offline now because I'm getting a dry throat from all the talking, and I will try and dig into this problem a bit more and see if we can improve things.